I grew up in Tehran, Iran. This is me with my twin brother. That's me on the left. When I was 6 years old, a brutal monarchy was replaced by a brutal Islamic revolution in a totalitarian regime. And then quickly thereafter, a war broke out with our neighboring country of Iraq. We lived in a neighborhood right next to the television station, so every single evening, Saddam Hussein's air raids would bomb our neighborhood trying to hit the TV station. And I spent my evenings with my whole family in the basement, holding our ears, hoping that our house wouldn't get hit. When we were 10 years old, the arc of my life completely changed. My dad brought us home a computer, a Commodore 64, and he said, "This doesn't have any games on it, but here's a book about computer programming, and you can learn to write your own games." There wasn't much else to do in Iran at the time, so my brother and I spent a whole lot of time learning how to use that computer. And by the time our family immigrated to the United States, I was good enough to pay my own way through college as a computer programmer, and then I had a great job coming right out of college, and then a fantastic career in the tech industry. And I basically have been living the American dream. The American dream is no longer about going out west and building a log cabin, and it's much more of a worldwide ideal. America is the land of opportunity, and the American dream is a worldwide ideal about opportunity. And these days, there's no greater opportunity than to change the world through technology. And these days, technology affects every field. It's not just about computers anymore, and it's not just about smartphones or tablets. Technology is about medicine, about energy, about space research, about entertainment, about transportation, or even far out things like contact lenses you put in your eyes that have computers in them. At this day and age, I look back to my own life and then fast forward 30 years. 30 years later, let's look at a young kid named Armand. He's in Washington Heights, just north of Harlem, going to school at a school that does not teach computer science. This is Rahel, just a few miles from here in South Seattle. Her entire neighborhood, none of the schools teach computer science. And it makes you think, what will the careers look like for a student graduating in 2030? A kid entering kindergarten today will be graduating from college in 16 years. I used to say that, you should learn about this stuff unless you want to be getting a job flipping a burger or driving a truck. But in that time frame, robots will be flipping burgers. There's already research into trucks that drive themselves. What does school look like for kids that are going to be graduating in that time frame? School has evolved as technology progresses to teach in different ways. And we need to figure out how that change needs to happen now as well. When I went to school, every student would learn how to dissect a frog. Every student would learn how electricity works. Every student would learn how to prove a basic theorem. And this isn't because we want to become biologists or electricians or mathematicians. Not every kid goes into those careers. It's to learn how the world around us works. And in today's days and age, it's just as important for a kid to learn what is an algorithm or how does the internet work. Computers are changing everything, yet most schools don't teach computer science. Now, I work for an organization called Code.org, and so of course, you may think I'm here to say our kids should be learning to code, right? But I'm actually here to say that our kids should be learning computer science, which is a much broader field about learning how technology works, learning how software is changing our world, and how to participate in that world. Now, of course, computer science education is on the rise because technology is growing, right? That also is not true. Computer science education is on the recovery after a 10-year decline. Here's a chart of computer science graduates over the last 10 or 15 years. You can see we're almost where we were 10 years ago, but on the lower bars, which are the women in this field, there's half as many women in this field as there were 10 years ago. This is not a good situation to be in one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Now, I'm from the tech industry, so people assume I'm here because the tech industry is desperate to hire more computer programmers. That also isn't true. Every industry is desperately trying to hire computer programmers. And this is not just in this state or in California, it's in every state of this country and in every country in the world. Now, computer science, of course, is about technology, but the reason we should be teaching it to our students is because actually computer science is broader than that. It's about logic, problem solving, and creativity. This is a picture of the first computer made in 1943. Now, consider if computer science is about technology, well, no, this is the first computer program written in 1843. Computer science is not just about building technology. It's about coming up with algorithms and solutions to problems. This lady here, Ada Lovelace, a girl, was the first computer programmer who came up with the idea of how algorithms can manage machines and solve problems. And so in this day and age, computer science is no longer just vocational for getting a job. In this day and age, computer science is completely foundational for any job you may want to have in the next 20, 30 years. And so the real question is, can our public education system evolve? In a day and age where we have the software and the internet causing the greatest transformation in our society, changing the fabric of every single job and every single industry, what can our schools do to keep up? We have, on the one hand, a job growth that is outpacing student growth 3-to-1 in this industry or in this field, a chance to strengthen the middle class at a time of record inequality, and yet an education system that is stuck in the past. Now, most people don't believe that public education can evolve or change, and I'm here to say that not only it can evolve and change, that it is evolving and changing at a record pace never seen before. Sooner than you think, every school will be teaching computer science. Sooner than you think, there will be as many girls entering this field as there are boys. Sooner than you think, access to education in this space won't be determined by where you live or the color of your skin. A lot of people think this is something that, my 10-year-old child can't learn, or it's not for my daughter. But there's a lot of people who now think that that's different. And that's because of a movement that started about a year ago called the Hour of Code. The Hour of Code was an idea and a grassroots movement that was fueled by over 200 partners. It started with a speech by the President of the United States on the homepage of Google and in every single Apple store and Microsoft in the country. But most importantly, it was fueled by 50,000 teachers who believed that their classroom and their students should have access to this new field. 11 months later, 48 million students have tried 1 hour of computer science. And these are girls, boys of all ages, from 6 years old to 80 years old, in every single country of the world, but most of them are in middle school and high school. This thing started with a bang. In 1 week, we had more girls try computer science in school than in the entire history of the field. And now people ask me, well, what can you learn in 1 hour? In 1 hour, you're not going to become a software engineer. You're not going to build an app that becomes, a multi-million-dollar success. But in 1 hour, you learn that computers are fun. You learn that you can write code to manage an Angry Bird or Elsa even. And the code that you write isn't about typing parentheses or semicolons. It's about dragging and dropping basic commands to make things happen and to make cool art. And while you're making cool art, you also learn about mathematical concepts like the angles. Most than anything else, you learn that computer science is easier than you think, it's more fun than you think, and that your 8-year-old daughter can do it. And so then there's a question of what happens after the Hour of Code, because 1 hour doesn't teach that much. The Hour of Code really is a seed that is planted in classrooms and in schools. I want to go back to the students I showed you earlier. This is Rahel. Her school now has a computer science class, and an entire school district in the Highline School District is rolling out computer science classes in an intro class in high school. This is Armand. His teacher tried the Hour of Code, and she was so inspired by the children's reaction that she picked up an online course, and now every single student in 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade in her school is learning computer science. In just 11 months, 50,000 new classrooms now teach computer science, reaching 2.5 million students as a full course, 40% of which are girls. This is a huge, huge transformation. Thank you. Computer science is now the fastest spreading course in the history of public education. In the schools that offer it, students absolutely flock to it. This is something that kids get engaged in. It relates to their everyday life. They realize this isn't just about memorizing the capitals of other countries. It's not about taking tests. It's about creating things. Every one of these kids sees technology changing the world around them. They play with tablets or phones and games, and this is a chance for them to actually participate in the world they live in, not just learning how to answer multiple choice questions. At the same time, as it's growing very, very fast, we have a long, long way to go. We have 2 million kids enrolled in this field. There's 1 billion students in the world. The Hour of Code has so far reached 50,000 schools and almost 50 million students. Our goal is to get it to 100,000 schools and 100 million students. We're 2 weeks away from Computer Science Education Week and the 1-year anniversary of the Hour of Code, And we have about 50,000 classrooms signed up to do this exercise again, to plant the seed that's going to bring computer science courses to their neighborhoods, to their schools. Please help me in growing this movement. If you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you're a student, get it into a classroom, get a child to try the hour of code at code.org. Thank you very much.